In part 2 of this one-part series, we're going to look at objective morality from a more practical perspective. No one wants to be wrong when it comes to morality and the questions we have about good and evil. We'd all love our morality to be objectively correct. Over the millennia, people have attempted to solidify their position by claiming that their morality is not their own, but rather the moral demand of an all-knowing, all-loving, unerring source of morality, God. And so long as others can make the same or similar claim, also lacking evidence supporting the claim, make-believers and atheists are all in the same boat together, floating on an ocean of subjectivity. To be clear, I don't like that any more than our commenter friend Steve does. I'm simply not willing to say things that can't be demonstrated or supported in an attempt to assert that my moral opinions are objectively better than someone else's, like saying they're not my opinions, but rather the opinions of a being whose existence can't be demonstrated. I will argue with you all day long. I have my reasons, but in the end, all we have when it comes to morality is subjective opinion. Christians, like our friend Steve, will say that folks like me who don't believe in objective morality can't say X is wrong with a capital W, because whatever I say is simply a matter of opinion, my opinion. But claiming you have a God who says X is wrong doesn't solve the problem, as other people believing in different gods will say that Steve's God is wrong, making it once again a contest of mere opinion. Now the opinion of Steve's God versus the opinion of some other gods. The irony for Steve is that he prefers his subjective moral opinion over his God's objective moral teachings, just like I do. When questioned about his gods allowing slavery, genocide, etc., Steve took great pride in Christianity's role in the abolition of slavery and outlawing rape, some hundreds or thousands of years late. Quote, Christians condemn and make those things illegal wherever they are in the majority, and all for religious reasons of man being created in the image of God, end quote. Of course, if slavery were immoral because humans are created in God's image, God wouldn't have allowed people to be owned as property in the first place, right? Christians also would have made slavery illegal based on that reasoning long before the 19th century, when and after Enlightenment thinkers began making the case for universal human rights. To be clear, Christians were at the very heart of the Atlantic slave trade for hundreds of years. Hashtag image of God. Christians also fought to keep slavery legal. Those were the Christians who had God on their side, quoting Leviticus 25 about making slaves of the people from the nations around the Hebrews, people who could become property for life and could be passed on to the children as an inheritance. This is a practice that I can subjectively condemn unequivocally and wholeheartedly because my morality is not anchored to an ancient book allegedly given by an unerring source of morality, God. Objective morality is unyielding morality, unchanging morality. It can't be bent. It can't be broken. It can't learn. It's forever. Unless you're prepared, as Steve was, to use one's intellect, one's reason, and empathy to find another way to say that something like slavery is wrong, however disingenuous and dismissive of the text in God's holy word. By the way, I could never get Steve to condemn genocide broadly, including the genocide in Canaan as depicted in Steve's Bible, his unerring source of moral truth. No matter what your source of morality, if you can't demonstrate that source exists or is unerring, then you're still going to have to defend and justify your moral claims using reason, argument, persuasion, etc. Claiming you are the one who has the source of moral truth is really nothing more than a desperate attempt to leapfrog others and claim your opinion or preference is the right opinion or preference, without the scrutiny of having to rationally justify your moral claims. Ironically, Jesus had another approach, and that's what we'll look at in part 6. Until then, I'm me. Thanks for watching.